Hello, everybody. At this time, we are talking about elasticity. Elasticity is a term used in economics to describe responsiveness in one variable to changes in another. Typically, elasticity is used to describe how much demand for a product changes as its price increases or decreases. This is also known as demand elasticity. Elasticity for a good or service can vary according to the number of close substitutes available, its relative cost, and the amount of time that has elapsed since the price change occurred. The main types of elasticity include price, income, and cross-product substitutions. And then we move to factors that affect the price elasticity of demand. The first factor, availability of close substitutes. If consumers can substitute the good for other readily available goods that consumers regard as similar, then the price elasticity of demand would be considered to be elastic. If consumers are unable to substitute a good, the good would experience inelastic demand. Second factor, the proportion of income spent on the good. The price elasticity of demand tends to be low when spending on a good is a small proportion of their available income. Therefore, a change in the price of a good exerts a very little impact on the consumer's propensity to consume. Whereas when a good represents a large chunk of the consumer's income, the consumer is said to possess a more elastic demand. Thus, if the good is a necessity or a luxury, the price elasticity of demand is lower if the good is something the consumer needs, such as insulin. The price elasticity of demand tends to be higher if it is a luxury good. And then fourth, time elapsed since a change in price. In the long term, consumers are more elastic over longer periods, as over the long term, after a price increase of a good, they will find acceptable and less costly substitutes. And then we move to the importance of assessing elasticity. The first about data analysis and decision making. Elasticity is a fundamental statistical concept that allows organizations to analyze data, identify patterns, and make informed decisions. Candidates who can effectively apply elasticity in data analysis are equipped to provide valuable insights to support strategic decision-making processes. Second, strategic planning. Candidates skilled in elasticity can provide organizations with valuable insights for strategic planning. By understanding the impact of various factors on business performance, they can assist in identifying growth opportunities, minimizing risks, and formulating effective strategies for long-term success. And then third, predicting consumer behavior. The ability to comprehend and apply elasticity helps businesses predict consumer behavior accurately. Candidates who possess this skill can analyze various factors influencing consumer choices, such as price, income, or demand, and provide actionable recommendations to align matching strategies for marketing. And then fourth, market dynamics. Elasticity assessment allows organizations to gauge a candidate's grasp of market dynamics. Candidates proficient in elasticity can analyze market trends, assess competitive forces, and recommend strategies to adapt to changing market conditions effectively. And fifth, optimizing pricing strategies. Elasticity assessment enables organizations to identify candidates who can optimize pricing strategies. By understanding how changes in price affect demand, candidates can help businesses determine optimal pricing levels that maximize profitability while maintaining customer satisfaction. Assessing a candidate's understanding of elasticity plays a crucial role in selecting the right fit for your organizations. And then, how is elasticity used? Elasticity has a wide variety of applications in both economics and finance. The first, about policy makers, analyze the impact that policies involving taxations, minimum wage, subsidies, etc., have on consumer behavior. Second, entrepreneurs determine if a market is worth entering or if a product is worth selling. Third, businesses determine the effects a change in price may have on revenue. And fourth, unions. If labor is a major input of a good, unions can use the elasticity of demand of that good to negotiate wages. And then we move to real-world examples of elastic goods. Typically, goods that are elastic are either unnecessary goods or services or those for which competitors offer readily available substitute goods and services. The airline, especially in the airline industry, is elastic because it is a competitive industry. If one airline decides to increase the price of its fares, consumers can use another airline, and the airline that increases its fares will see a decrease in the demand for its services. Meanwhile, gasoline is an example of a relatively inelastic good because many consumers have no choice but to pay fuel for their vehicles regardless of the market price. Understanding elasticity is useful because it allows you to understand how pricing affects supply and demand. If you can do that, you can understand how to maximize revenue by either raising your prices or lowering them. This plays a key role in any business because it allows you to determine whether increasing costs will add a net benefit or loss to the bottom line of the business. The key concept to think about is the price elasticity of demand. And if the good you are selling is priced inelastic, raise the price. But keep in mind that just because the quantity demanded hasn't changed in the short term doesn't mean it won't. Remember, the time is a factor, and both quantity supplied and eventually demanded quantity are often slow to react to changes in price, but in the long term, they tend to. This is because suppliers tend to find it easier to expand production over they know that the demand is short-lived, but thereof increased supply, they won't be able to sell the additional goods. I think it is enough. Thanks for watching.